So friends, today we are going to watch a game of Paul Morphy, and this is one of the famous games of Paul Morphy. And Paul Morphy played this game in an excellent fashion, and obviously we all know that Paul Morphy was a brilliant attacker and master of the open games, and this is just an example to prove this. So Paul Morphy had the black pieces and his opponent is not known. So white started with e4 and Paul Morphy replied e5. So this is the uh, usual response from king's pawn opening, and here white decided to play king's gambit with f4. So this king's gambit was very popular at that time, and a lot of games had been played on this particular opening, and Paul Morphy had a very good reputation in this gambit from white side and while defending this gambit. So here Paul Morphy decided to counterattack in the center with d5. So obviously there is a response e takes f4, where white can play knight to f3, and then um, later he can planning for d4. But here black decided to play d5. White responded e takes d5. And here the usual normal response is e takes f4. But Paul Morphy decided to play e4, and this is because to hinder the development of knight on f3, the natural square for white's knight. So black is um, creating problems for white to develop his pieces. After e4, white played knight c3, attacking the pawn. Black played knight f6, defining the pawn, development of a piece. And here white played d3. So this is very logical move, d3, to exchange the e4 pawn with the d3 and trying development of pieces. But instead of capturing the pawn, Paul Morphy played bishop to b4 with the idea to pressure the e4 and d5 square. So here white played bishop to d2, and white has the chance to play d takes e4, where after knight takes e4, queen d4 is a fork, but black has an excellent game after bishop takes c3 check, b takes c3, and now black can ignore the threat of queen takes e4 and play castles, because queen takes knight will lead to rook e8, winning the queen and winning the queen. So after castling, white can play bishop to d3, but black has already ruined white's pawn structure and obviously is leading in development. So black has a comfortable game. After bishop to d2, black has a very solid pawn sacrifice to give him initiative with e3. So black had already sacrificed a pawn, and now he's ready to sacrifice a second pawn in order to open the e-file, because white's king is remaining on the e-file, and white is facing problems to develop his king side. So e3 to open up the center. Very logical, fantastic. Bishop takes e3, and now black played castle. So after castles, now black is threatening rook e8, pinning the bishop and creating problems. Also black has a threat of knight takes d5. So here white played bishop d2. And now most of the players will play rook e8 check immediately. But Paul Morphy decided to play bishop takes c3 first because he was worried about rook e8 check and knight c to e2, where white has comfortable position. But instead of rook e8 check, he played bishop takes c3, and now b takes c3. And after rook e8 check, white has some problems because now white has to play bishop to e2, and now the bishop on e2 is pinned to the king. So black played bishop to g4, piling upon pin piece, very logical. And now white should not play knight f3 because bishop takes knight, g takes f3 is a it will give white very bad pawn structure. So after bishop to g4, white decided to play c4, defending his d5 pawn. And now Paul Morphy wanted to include his queen's knight. So this is a critical moment, and he decided to include his remaining pieces with c6. After c6, white's move is white move was d takes c6, but I think this is not the best one because I think king f1 would have been played, because after d takes c6, now after knight takes c6, black is already jumping on d4 square, and this is very brutal position, brutal attack for black. So after knight takes c6, king f1, and now in order to create more pins, black sacrifices exchange, rook takes e2, knight takes e2, and then piling upon pin piece, knight to d4. So black will get two minor pieces for a rook, and here black has initiative also after bishop takes e2. So white decided to play queen b1, bishop takes knight, and here white played king f2. So okay, king g1 was one of the choices, but white played king f2, knight g4 check, king g1. And here black has a force to win because all of his minor pieces are on excellent squares, on attacking squares, and black wants to bring his queen into the attack, so he sacrificed another piece, knight f3 check. Excellent. G takes f3, queen d4 check, king g2, queen f2 check, king h3, queen takes f3 check, king h4. And after these series of checks, black was able to bring white's king into near to his attackers. So here black has lot of chances to win the game, but he decided to play knight h6, threatening queen g4. And here white resigned because if white plays queen g1, then knight f5 check, king g5, and queen h5 would be mate. So white resigned in this position after knight h6. This is one of my favorite games of Paul Morphy, and one can learn a lot of fundamental concepts from this game. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and comment, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.